So one thing I forgot to point out last time is you suppose you wanted to constrain this point class itself so that it only uh, that only certain types of arguments can be created within the instance of the class. One way to do that is we have our public class point t here, and all we have to do is say it extends number. And now all this class does is you can only create certain reference types, or pass only certain reference types that that function that sort of function within that number class system. All right, so let's take a look at inheritance and generic classes. So I'm going to right click on my package here and I'm going to create a new class. And this class I'm going to call it point3d. And let's start off by creating extending the numbers class like we did before. So public class point3t. Inside of here, we're going to let it accept generics, or make it a generic class, and then say that it extends number. And then what we're going to do is we're going to extend this class so that it includes things from point, because we have our x and y in point, and we're going to take in generic elements from point. Because if you remember, our point class references generics. Alright, so here's our point3d. Alright, now you might be wondering, why is this red? We haven't added a constructor, so let's go ahead and add a constructor in there. And you can see right off the bat, our constructor, because we are extending the point class, is accepting the x and y. So we need a z, and that doesn't exist within the point class. So in here, we're going to go ahead and make a private generic z coordinate, and the z coordinate, and then let's throw our z in here. And this is passing it up to our superclass, so we wouldn't pass z up, just so some of you might be wondering, why aren't we sending the z in? But what we need to do is what we did before, which is we need to assign it. So let's jump back in here, copy that guy, and z coordinate equals z. And we need to set and get z. So what I'm going to do is jump back to point here and just steal one of these. I'll steal these two here. Oops. Let's make sure that we remember those are its own functions. Yeah, there we go. And z, z. I'm going to save that. Alright, so let's review this. So starting right off the top, what this is saying is that the class that we're defining is point3d, and the type of the parameter is t, right? We're doing with generics here. The notation that t extends number is used to define that type parameter, so that any type of argument past the t must be a number or some sort of subclass of that number. And then we're extending point t. Okay, if you're not familiar with extends, I have a video on that too. All right, let's jump back into, looks like we have some sort of error here. Maybe I just have to save it. Let's run it and see what the error is. Oh, it's right here. Z coordinate equals z. Oh, this is why. There we go. Okay, let's save that. All right, let's jump back into play. I'm gonna gut this, and I'm gonna gut these guys in here. All right, so let's go ahead and demonstrate how you do this. So we're gonna go ahead and make a point3d object, and the reference type is integer. And I'm gonna call it point equals new point, and I'm going to pass in these three parameters into point3d. All right, and then let's do, oops. Here's the values in point. And I'll pause the video and just type this out so you could see it. Alright, so I wanted to leave this part for you to kind of check out. So I'm going to type out point dot. Now notice that it allows me to get x, y, or z. So if I double click this, and you might be like, wait, how did that happen? So let's review that really quickly. If not, you could probably just finish this off and run it and you'll be good. But if you need the further explanation, let's stick around. So if we look at this, I save this and I run it. What's happening is when we call this here, right, we're creating this object, point 3D, right, it's storing it within point. 10 and 20 are going here. So let's jump back to point 3D. It jumps into here and we're storing off 10 and 20 into our constructor, which are passing it even further down the chain into our point, right? Because point 3D is extending that and we're sending that up to our superclass, which is this one here. This is our subclass and that's our superclass. And then as we go down into our play function here, the z-axis is only going up one level, right? That's the 30, x, y, and z. And so if we jump up to point 3D, all we're doing here is it jumps to this guy and it passes it into this particular class here.